live. It is Monday, February 24th. Can you believe we are so close to finishing up the month of February? It is great to be coming to you live from a VO's journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. Today, I have my pencil, I have my coffee, and that means we are ready to talk about marketing. That's right. I want to talk to you guys today about cold calling and emailing. And I want to do this. I was searching around and I came upon a video by John Grimes on LinkedIn, who I've known for a while. I mean, and I've seen his videos and stuff. And he was talking about an experience that he had while he was calling a customer and, just trying to see if they needed any voiceover work, etc. And basically the interaction with the customer went sort of like the customer let them know, I was kind of busy, but just to keep in touch with them, and that interaction through that email was actually important and was important to keep, you on their mind. And I want to dive into that because, we're all always searching for, getting business. And that's, of course, the number one question that I always get is, Anthony, how do I book more business? How do I get more business? How do I, grow my business? It's just business. How do I get business? How do I get customers? And, there are many methods like we talk about on this show, but one of the biggest methods, honestly, these methods that we don't talk about a lot and we don't do very much. And I think there's a reason why, and there's a stigma to it, but that's cold calling. That's calling potential customers and introducing yourself and seeing if they would like to, if they would be willing to take a listen to your demo or put you on their file as a possible person to contact. And I want to dive into it today because I think that, a couple reasons. One, there's a couple things. First off, we have to have our ducks in a row. Right? So when we're talking about getting business and we're talking about calling a client, we need to have a website, okay? Or we need to have somewhere we can send them. Now, could it be SoundCloud? Sure, it could be SoundCloud, and that's fine. So you don't have to build out a SoundCloud. You just have to make sure you have a demo. But there's another thing. You have to have a demo. And you need to have a place where, again, they can go, whether it is SoundCloud or whether it's your own website. A website, is more professional. So you need a place to send them to your website. You can send them a downloadable link, but I think that's, that could be kind of tacky because, people don't want to click on links in their email. I know I don't. So there's all of that first off. So when you're first starting off, you don't want to do, you don't necessarily have all of those things. But when you have all of those things, how do you even go about calling a potential client? And, I think for me, it was kind of the biggest eye openers was that when you're calling someone, your job is not to book business. Now, yes, that's your ultimate end job, but your job is to really make a contact. And the reason why I felt like talking about this today was because I think this is a viable thing that we're not doing enough of anymore because of the stigma that we have come into of people calling and hounding us to buy things from them and say, hey, would you like to buy this? Would you like to buy that? But I think getting a hold of someone on the phone is not a bad thing. I think calling someone and asking them if they're willing to, if they're looking for voiceover artists, or are they hiring voiceover artists now, or are they accepting demos? Are they accepting samples? Are they accepting new talent for their casting lists? Do you know what I mean? Like that's a good phone call because you're not asking for business. They have, they might not even have another way to find you other than that. That's a great thing. But more importantly, it is the idea of keeping up with someone, right? Keeping in contact with someone. And I think that's where emailing comes in too. If you approached email or phone calls a little differently than just thinking about getting a client, let's say we are approaching these things as a way to keep ourselves in contact and in the minds of the people who are making decisions to hire voice talent. So by emailing, by contacting these people, Okay. And I would say it would be a good idea to, try to reach out and contact these people, like, via email, once a month, once every 2 months, through a newsletter, through a regular email, not an email, hey, are you looking to buy anything from me? But an email, updates, just saying hello, how's it going? Keeping yourself in a position where people are remembering who you are, thinking about you, because if something pops into their mind, because when we're working, things pop on our desk really quickly and we've got to make decisions, we got to figure it out. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that when that happens to them, we are right there and they can remember us. Now, I think it's safe to say that we all are aware that contacting somebody once is not enough. I mean, if we take a look, and we can even talk about Fiverr in this instance, because we don't talk about, actually, there's one place on Fiverr that we never talk about. And it's in context to what we're talking about today. And that is the favorites section. So there's a little part at the top of your gig on Fiverr, and where I'm going with this, we'll get back to calling and emailing. But what I'm talking about is there's a part where people can go and they can favorite your gig. And why would you favorite a gig? Well, you would favorite a gig, or you favorite something online so that you can go back to it. You can get to it. Why do we save a website? You know what I mean? Why do we put it in our bookmarks list or our favorites list? So we can find it quickly and go back to it when we need it. You have to start thinking about your business like this too, because somebody might be searching for something. And same with the buyer's request section on Fiverr. But I digress and getting stuck on Fiverr. But the thing is that these people might not need you right at this moment, but it's important for you to get on that, that idea of the favorites list, to get on that idea where you are right there at top of the mind in front of them. And if you think of a contact as not, one contact and then you move on, but a contact that goes into a series of contacts. Now, yes, there are programs that you can get, like Mailshake and different things that will you can set up to send emails. And do I think that's a good idea? Sure, I think it's a great idea. It costs money a month, but can you do it without that? Sure, you can do it without that. You can do it by yourself, but you probably need a spreadsheet and figure out who you contact. But the idea is, once you contact them, that's great. You need to contact them 5-10 more times before the likelihood is that you'll get any work. And that's because you got to keep yourself in the front of their mind. 1, 2, I mean, let's be honest. It is a chance. There is a stroke of luck here. But again, I like luck, laboring under correct knowledge. You know me, and I like that acronym. All right. But the idea here is that you are continually reaching out to people, to potential clients, but you do that on a consistent basis. Because if you don't do it on a consistent basis, they're going to lose your information. They're going to forget about you. I think numbers came out a while ago, and they've become like a benchmark. And I know they're getting worse and worse, or more and more. But because we are bombarded with so much information all the time, so much marketing, we constantly are pushing back how many times we have to hear something. I love the story, and I don't want to recall, I don't want to say it wrong, but the idea is that when you first market to someone, or you first contact them, or they first see you, do you know what I mean? They don't even remember you, they don't even recognize you, you don't even really come up in their scope of their life. And then they see you again, the same thing, they see you again, the same thing, then they see you again, and they recognize that they recognize from somewhere, but they have no opinion about you. Then they see you again, and now this time they don't like you very much, but they recognize your brand or your logo or whatever. Then the next time they see you, they still don't like you, but they don't really know if you're a good company or not. Then the next time they see you, they mention to someone that they've seen you around, and then the next time they see you, then they're kind of interested in maybe as a service they might try. Then the next time they see you, maybe they'll even reach out or start to do a little research on you. Then the next time they see you, they might even reach out to see if they can work with you. It's interesting, like, you go through this stuff, right? And if you think about it, ourselves, using ourselves as guinea pigs, when we look at something, we're branded to, we are marketed to, we are asked to buy, we watch videos, we listen to radio ads, we see billboards, we see Google ads, we see ads on Netflix, we see ads everywhere, ads on our text messages. We're seeing things everywhere, and people know that the more we see, that means that the more we have to get in front of people consistently for them to recognize us, remember us, and, in order to use us. So with that being said, it is a powerful thing being able to contact someone directly and talk to them, because then we become real. All right. But then the emails too have more meaning as well, because if you can call someone and email them, right, then that gives you a double whammy in the fact that you've already contacted them twice. They've put a real person there, but then you follow up with them with another email and another email. Now, don't do this like one day, the next day, and the next day. Okay. But you need to do this. If they respond to you, all right, they're okay with you sending them emails. So it's something that you should ask them. All right. But after that, you need to then continue to move forward with messaging them. Like I said, maybe you create a newsletter for potential clients once a month where you build up a list. And I think this is a great idea. And you know what? I know very many successful people do this. I know people like Bill DeWeese do this. I know many successful people. And it's not just in the voiceover industry, right? All right. Many people use this type of these emails and newsletters in order to keep themselves in the minds of the people that they are their potential clients, who also then become, all right, their friends as well in a way. And that's the whole idea with all of this. We are becoming more trustworthy, and we're becoming more trustworthy because we are becoming more recognizable, and we are becoming more consistent, more familiar. And I think that's an important word here, familiarity. We don't talk about that ever, but that we do when we talk about branding, right? But familiarity is pivotal, I think, to all of our businesses. And it's a challenge that we all run into, right? Because if we're not, then that's where branding is all about, is being familiar and being able to recall what, you are and what you're doing and what you stand for and what you want. So anyways, I wanted to talk about that today because, again, I saw that video by John and I thought it was really great that we don't talk a lot about, the idea of continuing to contact someone. And just because we contact someone once, all right, and they say something like, hey, thanks for reaching out to me. I'm not looking for anybody right now, but we'll put you on our list. Okay. Well, that's great. That means they need to go into a section where you're going to contact them in another couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks from now. You send them another email and you might be like, God, Anthony, it takes so long. I don't want to do that. And yes, I understand it takes long. And when you first start anything, it takes a while. But what happens is, as you build this list, after the first month and the second month and the third month you do this, you're going to find out that you're going to be messaging people every single day. You're going to have new people, right, that you're messaging every single day, and because you're trying to grow that email list. And the more you grow that email list, the more people that you can send that newsletter to every couple weeks or every month, the more opportunities you have to continually get in front of somebody. By the way, we're not talking anything about referrals here. Not only is it a good idea to keep yourself in someone's mind for them if they need work, but also if there's a referral that they're going to need, like if someone they know needs a voice actor, you're going to be on their mind because you are in constant contact with them. Does this mean that this is the only thing you do? No, this is just a piece of your marketing plan, but it's a great piece. And again, I think that consistency here is key to doing it. You've got to send more than one email. You got to send more than 2 emails, all right? You got to send multiple emails. And by the way, we were just talking about here if people respond to you. We send tons of emails, right? And nobody responds. Well, that could be a variety of reasons. It could be one that they didn't know you, so they delete it. I do that all the time with emails. If I don't know who you are, I delete it. However, if I received an email, all right, and if I deleted it and then I received another one, a week later, all right, and I noticed it was from the same person, All right. And, I deleted that. Then I received it 3 weeks later again. And there's another one. I might think, this is interesting. I might open it and take a look at it. Or I received an email, and because I was so busy, I didn't see it, and I deleted just a bunch of emails, right? Because I did some search, because people use emails so well now, right? That we have emails going into folders, we've got emails going everywhere, and if they don't meet those criterias, we might not even look at them. So that's another thing, is a follow-up emails to make sure that people actually see our email. That's why the calling component is so important. But I do want to point out that if you are not during the day, like for example, when I was starting out, I worked all day. So did I have a lunch break? Yes. And did I make some calls? I did. I would make a couple calls over lunch break, and I recommend you do the same thing. Okay, what do you got to lose? You don't have anything to lose. Make a couple calls over lunch break, go to your car, go somewhere, where people aren't going to be bothering you, and make a few calls, 2 or 3 calls, vet the companies the night before, and then move on with your life. Send them an email. So when you make a phone call, a good idea is saying, hey, say your name, I'm a voice talent. Can I speak to the person who deals with voice talent? Okay, that's all you got to say, right? Can I speak to the person who deals with voice talent? My name is Anthony Pica. I'm a voiceover artist. Can I speak to the person who deals with voice talent? All right. They say, yeah, sure. That's Bob. They connect you to Bob. Say, hey, Bob, my name's Anthony Pica. I'm a voice talent. Are you guys accepting voiceover demos? Oh, yeah, sure. Well, yeah, that's fine. You can send it over. It's like, great. Can I email you? Sure. That'd be great. Then you can say, hey, by the way, I sent out, would you be mind if I follow up with you in a few weeks? They're like, oh, yeah, okay, great. Great. If they say no, that's fine too. But in all the time I've been doing it, no one says no. I mean, really, they don't. They're like, sure, why not? Because we all like the idea of having a reminder, a built-in reminder to us. We like that idea. We need it, right? It's important to remember that we need those things. Okay, so you just have to ask the questions. And the more you do it, the less frightening it will become. I always say this too. If there's a wall standing in front of you, and on the other side of that wall is everything you ever wanted in your life, what would you do to get over that wall? Do you know what I mean? I said this another way the other day too. If there was, X amount of auditions, right? If auditioning was the thing that was standing in front of you having everything you wanted, how many auditions would you do? Right? How many would you do before you're like, forget it. I'm just never going to get there. Right? How many would you do? How many phone calls would you make? Okay. The first couple ones are going to be weird, and they're going to be tough, and you're going to feel awkward, and you're going to be like, voiceover. It's going to be odd. You're going to feel weird about it, and they're going to be like, yeah. But that's okay. You got to keep going. Then the next thing you'll know, you'll be like, hey, what's up? All right. You might not say, hello, wait, what's up? But you might say, hey, how you doing? My name is Anthony. I'm a voiceover artist. Can I speak to the person who handles voice talent? I mean, when you break down the words, and if it helps you, put a script together. Do what you have to do. But the idea here is a phone call is amazing because it is a way for you to skip like you get right to the person. We all are trying to get emails of people that we know, like for example, producers, and we're trying to get the email list of creative directors, and we're trying to get all these email addresses of the people who make the decisions. What better way to bypass all of that mess and money by simply picking up a phone, calling the company, and asking who deals with it? And then even if we get a voice message, all right, we find out a couple things. One, we find out whether they are dealing with voice talent or not, which right there is a huge thing. Secondly, we get a chance to actually get to the person and ask them specifically, which means they won't get rid of our email. I mean, unless they're just being nice to us, but that's fine. But still, we have an opportunity then to get, in front of the people we need and to make sure they will not delete our email. Then at that point, we have our way in. They are now on our email list. They have accepted us in, and now we can continue to reach out to other people, but continue to reach out to them. All right? Now, here's an important thing. And and this is weird things that come up to me, and I just want to explain or say them to you. My suggestion is you create either a bi-weekly, tri-weekly or monthly newsletter or email template that you send out on the same date each, couple of weeks or each month, so that when you are doing this, right, and you are adding people to your email list, you're adding customers, you're not creating this list that is completely like, I called Joe on the 5th and I called Sally on the 8th, and now I have to remember to email Sally on the 8th and email Joe on the 5th, or was it Joe on the 8th and Sally on the 5th, and and like that's a mess. And I know that might seem like a no-brainer, but things like that, when you actually push away all of the theory and start to do this for real, these kinds of things pop up. By the way, where do you put all these people? Okay. I mean, if you're using Gmail is a really nice way to keep contacts, make your folders in your email, but you can also keep spreadsheets as well. I suggest you keep a spreadsheet as well, but you can handle it all in Gmail. It doesn't have to be a crazy idea. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be some crazy CRM system. You don't have to pay, hundreds of dollars a month that, for a system that not only does that, but it also makes you coffee, all right, and gets you free miles, for flights to Tahiti. You don't need all of that. You could do all this with a Gmail account or in a simple spreadsheet, which can be free if you don't even have Word, online with Google Docs. Okay, and then you can access it anywhere. But the point I'm trying to make is that add a specific time and date to your newsletter. Okay, I know we had some different things popping up here. I saw somebody asked about the newsletter. Let's check out and see if there's any questions here. It just popped in so somebody said, so the newsletter idea would something like a link to a LinkedIn post or a blog on your site work? Yeah, that's fine. I would really look at also, Woody, newsletter templates, online, like sending a newsletter, and that's fine. Absolutely. That has a link to a blog post. Absolutely. Has, if you did, maybe like current work that you're doing, things that you've done this month, neat things that happened in your business, because this is about you. All right. Do you need a seller's permit for VO work online? John, I have no idea what you mean by a seller's permit to do VO work online. If you mean, do you need a business license to do work online? Absolutely. You need a business license to conduct business, whether you're doing voiceover or whether you're selling, whether you're selling pencils. You still need a business license no matter what business you're in. So I don't know if that's what you're trying to talk about, John. But I don't, as a seller's permit, I'm not exactly sure if that's what you mean, but that's the answer to that question. You always need a business license if you have a business. And no matter what you do, no matter what service or product you sell, you are in a business. So then you need a business license. Okay, let's see. Can't wait to start contacting local stations or their production companies. Been listening more to radio and AM. Pretty sure about 80% of local commercials are exactly the same guy every time. Well, that's true. And by the way, radio is, yes, John, an LLC is a good way to do it. You could be a sole proprietorship, but an LLC gives you some shelter from limited liability. So from liability, someone were to sue you, they would only be able to take everything that the LLC owned and not like your house, for example. Okay, so that's because your house wouldn't be under your LLC, just the assets of the business. But I suggest you really talk to, an accountant, a tax specialist, those kinds of things like that. But yes, that is true. Where was I? I was talking about the radio. Yes, that's true. And that's true. A lot of radios now are not paying radio people, as you know. So many radio announcers and stuff are being laid off all over the country. They're outsourcing their stuff now to people like us because it's sadly, but it's true. It's cheaper for me to work at my home, someone to go on to Fiverr or to just email me and say, hey, I need this in a few minutes. Bam. instead of having to pay me insurance, having to pay me, having to pay all my bills, you know what I'm saying? I had to pay taxes for me, having to pay all the insurance, all that stuff like that. So yeah, so that's happening a lot. Sadly, to radio personalities, that's happening. But for us, it's an opportunity to grow there, and hopefully, those radio personalities are jumping into the voiceover business there. But I do know I wish them the best. So many of them are really struggling and getting laid off. So I am very saddened by that, because that's a big industry thing. We even have a place in our town where they're helping out radio announcers and stuff who've lost their job. But hopefully that's definitely something that you want to do, is contact local and then contact everyone around the country. Pick a big city and go from there. Good thing my day job has me calling customers, so I'm quite practiced at it. It is hard, though. Just have to have some sort of pitch prior to the call. That's right. Now, the positive thing, you guys, to note is that when calling a business, I've noticed that businesses are definitely easier to call than calling people at home. Because I do think, like, people call me at night, and I'm like, come on, guys. Don't call me at my house at nighttime. Really? That's just wrong. But if I'm at work and someone calls me, I don't, it's almost expected, like someone's going to call me at work to ask about something about work, right? So it's a little more accepted to make phone calls. What's a lot more accepted to make phone calls to businesses during the business day than it is to make phone calls at home. And usually when you're working at a business like a B2C business, business to consumer, you've got to call their homes. But when you're working at a B2B business, I think phone calling is a lot easier and a better idea, because we're not going to, most of the time, I've never been cursed out. I've never been yelled at. I've never been treated poorly. I'm not saying you won't be the exception to that. I'm just saying that most of the time, a business is not going to pick up and be like, darn you for calling me. They're not going to do that, right? F you and F that. You get that at home. You call someone's home at night, they were going to do that to you, but not a business. So it should, hopefully ease your mind a little bit, I think, for calling a business. All right, you guys. Again, I want to thank John Grimes for that video. He has no idea that I saw it nor I was talking about it, but I wanted to give him credit because it just sparked in my mind from that little video that he did on LinkedIn talking about just him having an experience with a phone call for a potential customer or client, that I thought I could talk about it today from my point of view, because, like I said, everybody's always asking about how to get business. All right, so does anybody have any questions or any other comments? I know I'm not seeing anything from Facebook today, but again, remember, if you're at a VO's Journey group, that doesn't show up there right now because Facebook changed things, and Restream and Facebook aren't talking real well right now. So, but is there anything else? Let's see, any other questions? All right, well, listen, I want to thank everybody for watching today. Please, like it says right up here, to subscribe. By the way, thank you. I saw who said it. Thank you, Nick, for the overlays. I'm trying to make it a little bit more snazzier than it was. You can do all kinds of stuff because I use OBS for the video, and I can add, these are honestly pictures that go into it, like you said, it's an overlay. And you can also add video, and I could do bells and whistles, and I could hit a button and be like, oh look, there's something here. Oh look, there's something over here. I could it could pop up all over the screen, because if you look at it, I can actually, if you watch the top, I can make it come and go by clicking, and it's pretty cool. It's so funny how the time that it's taken me to learn all this stuff, which is, it seems to me ridiculous amount of time, but I think it makes the production better and worth it. Plus, it's a nice way to give information. By the way, you could have I could have a ticker to where just goes across the bottom, which would be just a running video that I could put in here too, into this software, which is OBS, which is a free software, and still by far seems to be one of the best pieces of live broadcasting software out there. I'm just amazed by it. So any Hoosers, well, thank you guys so much again for watching. I appreciate it. If you get a chance, again, like, subscribe, retweet, share, do all that stuff. Flip says, do you not use a CRM app? No, I don't. I just use Gmail and a spreadsheet on Google Docs. Google Docs. I don't need all that extra. I've looked at them. I don't need all that extra stuff. You don't. At least I don't think I do. You know what I mean? I don't, because it's I mean, I would imagine if I was a large company or a company that had multiple people and we all had to get on platforms to share, like to share and to add data from different places, right? And different touch points and everything, that I would need something that was more in depth. But, when it's just us, or even us and just one other person, you know what I mean? And it's like one single line of work. It doesn't seem like we need all the bells and whistles. I mean, all we need is somewhere to make sure that we capture the email address and hold on to it and then be able to recall it, and even maybe a little information about that, which you could do on a spreadsheet or you can do it in Gmail. So that's what, I use that. But again, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you might not find a CRM that's better for you. All right. Great question, Flip. All right, you guys. You all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Monday. I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye. See you later.